Finding God in nature. Can you imagine yourself being in that place? No? Did someone say no? No? It's beautiful. I like to be in a forest. Yeah. I like to walk through a forest, cycle through a forest. Actually, I cycle almost every day. And I like to go where we live. We have a bit of nature, so it's beautiful to look at. And I was inspired to give this topic because I had this overwhelming experience of feeling God's presence as I was cycling through nature. Thank you very much.
There you go.
So I have some questions for you. Yes, so do you experience God in nature?
Yes.
Maybe it's easier to find God in nature than in people. Yeah. Yes. And so what do you love? If you would, I'd ask you, well, what is it, what inspires you most about nature, the place you'd like to be, or what you'd like to see or experience?
The peace. The peace.
Peace, finding peace in nature.
Sunset.
Yeah. Sunset.
Harmony.
Harmony. Any more?
Beauty.
Beauty.
Variety.
Variety. Yes. But what do you like to do in nature, apart from sitting in it? What-
Fishing.
Fishing?
Drawing.
Drawing in nature. Actually drawing what you see. Very nice. Anything else?
Singing.
Singing in nature?
Picking berries.
Picking berries, yes.
Picking flowers.
Picking flowers? Smelling flowers? Yes. So many things to appreciate and to feel wonder of what is surrounding us. I mean, so the thing is, what happens inside of us when we are content and we feel peace? What's going on inside of us? Because this is something was going on inside of me when I was cycling through nature, and this kind of stimulated my mind. What's going on? Yeah. How does nature affect us? So here's a quote from Father. He says, "The older I become, the more it means to me that in nature spring follows winter and brings with it flowers in full bloom. What am I that God, each season, allows the flowers to bloom and the snow to fall so I might know the joy of being alive?" He feels blessed. You know, what have I done to deserve this? That God gives this so I can feel joy. And he continues, "Love wells up from within the deepest recesses of my heart, and I am overcome with emotion. I am moved to tears to think that everything of real value has been given to me freely. In my life I have circled the globe many times over in my efforts to bring about a world of peace, and yet it is here, in this garden in spring, that I am able to taste real peace." Love is given freely, so we experience love. We feel actually God's love in nature, and we find peace. He also says this: "The shortcut to protecting nature is to develop a heart that loves nature. We must understand that God's breath is hidden inside a single boulder or a single gust of wind. To care for and love the environment is to love God. We must be able to see each creature created by God as an object of our love. With our spiritual eyes opened, we could see that a single dandelion by the roadside is more valuable than the gold crowns of kings. To see each created creature by God as an object of our love. That's what everything around here is, an object of our love. How beautiful. And that even a single dandelion is more valuable than the gold crown of kings. Amazing, isn't it? So, do any of you like to wander through nature? Skipping through nature? Do you recognize yourself there? Yes? Isn't it wonderful? You want to skip and jump and run? Well, actually, I like to cycle through nature. And this is kind of a bit like the picture I get on my bicycle because I'm going a bit faster. And as I see all this nature, I look around and I think, isn't it beautiful? And that's where something's going on inside of me. I'm getting something back. Of course, when I stop and I look more closely, I look at a single leaf, or I look at the trees, the tall trees, and it's when I see everything together, that's where I feel, wow, God's love. What does the divine principle, how does the divine principle explain this experience we have with nature? So let's look at the third blessing, the perfection of dominion. So we have God, we have human beings having a relationship with God within themselves, yes, and then giving love to nature. And when human beings and nature are united, this union brings the ideal world, doesn't it? If we, as mature human beings, filled with God's love, could care for the creation, we create this beautiful environment. This is the ideal world. But again, how does this relationship work? So there's a giving and receiving. So human beings give to nature, and nature receives our love. And then nature gives something back, and we receive something back. And it goes on and on and on. So this giving is like investing 100%. If you look at a single flower or a tree, when you really look at it in the present moment and full concentration, then you get something back. Because that's what I was finding. If I just stop and observe nature and forget everything else, wow, something's coming back. So what's coming back? Well, I'm giving love, but what's coming back is beauty. Because nature is unconditional. It's just there, giving freely of itself, not asking anything back. And this is what brings joy. So this relationship, that's why we're here. God created everything in nature to give us joy. But of course we need to have a relationship with nature. And when we do, we get so much back. So if you stop and look at flowers, aren't they beautiful? Yeah. So if I try again talk about what came to my mind, it's this, my experience of this overwhelming love when observing nature is because of focused attention in the present moment, to be in the present moment. If your mind's worrying about the future or the past, you're not there. But when you actually focus on what you see around you, then you feel the love. You feel the love for nature, and you can see their beauty. And what about this? I think this is a very beautiful picture. I could just stare at this for hours. Yes. So this relationship has an energy exchange and of love and joy. And God created this for us. God created it for us to give us joy. And then I look at the clouds. Yesterday, when I was on my bicycle, it was a beautiful, beautiful day. It was one of the best days of the year, in my opinion, because it wasn't too hot. And if you're cycling, you need a bit of a breeze. But the sky was beautiful. The clouds were so like white with the blue sky. And so this was really stimulating my heart, and I was feeling God's presence in the clouds. And then I looked at the trees waving in the wind, and I felt God's presence in them. And I experienced this kind of oneness. This is how it should be. We should feel one with nature. This is God's gift to us. And so what about this? Anybody like hugging a tree? Has anyone here hugged a tree?
Only trees.
Why do you hug a tree? So those who have hugged a tree, why did you decide to hug a tree?
It's so big.
Well, I mean, because you must love it. I mean, he loves the tree. You can see his face. He's so content. What about flowers? Do you like smelling flowers? Yes. Of course, if you have hay fever, it's a bit of a problem. But the scent is so pleasing for the senses. And again, flowers. God gave these flowers for us. The scent to bring us joy to our sense of smell. And how many of you have flowers at home? I know my wife does. Yes, she loves flowers even more than me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. But, if you touch flowers and you talk to them, is there any scientific evidence actually they respond?
Yes.
Are you sure of that? Have you read some literature about it? Or do you feel it yourself? Do you feel that plants grow better when you give them a lot of attention? Well, actually, plants really do respond to the way we touch them, scientists have revealed. So, Australian scientists from the University of Western Australia have found evidence that plants can feel when we're touching them. Not only that, but different sensations trigger a cascade of physiological and genetic changes depending on the stimulation that plants are receiving, whether it's a few drops of rain or a little soft pat. Although people generally assume plants don't feel that they are being touched, this shows that they are actually very sensitive to it. Plants do have pretty good awareness of their surroundings. For example, they can hear when they're being chewed on by insects, and they release chemicals to stop it. While there's no visible response to any of this stimulation, actually, one thing the scientists have found was that spraying water droplets on plants caused them to change the expression of thousands of genes, a dramatic physiological response that started within minutes of the stimulus and stopped within half an hour. We were able to show, this scientist said, that this response was not caused by any active compounds in the spray, but rather by the physical contact caused by water drops landing on the leaf surface. So if you're going to touch a plant, they feel it, they respond to it. And this was from Oliver van Uken from the University of Western Australia. So what about this? Have you heard of the observer effect? This is in quantum physics. Well, without going into too much scientific detail, the observer effect is that if you look at a particle, if you look at what's the word now? Particles. When you observe them, they become particles, but when you're not looking, the particle returns to a wave. So just by observing something, these particles, they actually coalesce. But when you're not looking, they turn back into a wave. So on a very, do you understand that? It's on a very, but it's a kind of a scientific observation of quantum physics in this kind of very small, invisible world. But it's showing on this level that if we observe something, it responds. So, more words from Father. The created world of all things was made as a textbook of love and as a museum that endlessly displays the essence of love. So this is the point, is that we can learn so much about love from experiencing by being in nature. So that's why it moves our heart. We feel love for it and we get so much love back. So this topic is about finding God in nature, but maybe we should say it's finding God's love in nature. So we want to find God within God's love in each other, and actually God created us as his children. So if God gave us so much nature because he wants us to feel his love, but that's through nature, how much does God himself or herself love us? God's love for us is even greater than his love that he shows through nature. But it's a medium through which he can express that. But of course, relationships between human beings, especially parents and children, brothers and sisters, husband and wife, this is an even deeper love. But many people, they don't find God in each other or even themselves, but they find God in nature. And so God is like showing through this textbook of nature and this museum of nature how much he loves us. So with that, I would like to say thank you for listening. Thank you.